Hi, hello, and welcome, or welcome back, I suppose. I honestly am probably going to try to keep this video kind of short, kind of sweet, even though we are reviewing 2 books. I'm going to open this by being completely honest with you. Since the new moon video went to shit, my brain has been completely turned off. As you may have noticed, there was no Tuesday video. I put a little update up about that. And to follow that up, this video is going out later than it usually would because I'm just like, I need time, I don't need a deadline, and there's going to be no videos next week. I have returned, well, actually, I say I have returned. I will have done by the time this goes out. Where are you going, babe? You just having a little sit down? They'll be returned by the time this comes out. I was meant to do it today, but I woke up and there's a shit ton of snow everywhere. The cat's going to open the door. And then, of course, my tripod falls down because it always fucking does. So, yeah. I woke up this morning, snow everywhere, and I was just like, oh, I've had massive problems with ice before, and my brain not having a great time with it, but thankfully it cleared up mostly. It mostly seems to have cleared up. But still, my brain isn't best pleased, but hopefully it'll be fine enough tomorrow so I can go to the library, return those books, if nothing else. But no videos next week. I am doing a mad rearrange. So there, and I might not have Bad Rep Book Club the end of this month. Because this the shot's awful. This is what we're getting. It looks bad, but it usually does. But this is meant to be a casual and quick video, but you're getting an explanation. So like I said, this month has gone by really quick, and I've just not been in the brain space to read something god awful. So you're definitely getting a video in 2 weeks, which will be my cats picking my books. We filmed that this morning. Well, the intro to it went exactly as I had expected, which is that Zelda was fine to cooperate. Lily couldn't have given less of a shit, really. But possibly no Bad Red Book Club because it takes time. So I'm thinking April's going to be a busy month for me personally. So I figure I can just use that as I'll take the month off for regular uploads, and then I will come back to you with Bad Rep Book Club. I'm bad at taking breaks, so my brain's going, no, we have to work, we have to work, we have to work. But the other half of my brain is going, please, we're tired. So I have to listen to the tired side of my brain and not feel bad about taking time off, even though my brain goes, but there's so much we have to do, and there's so much, and there's so much, but none of it will ever get done if I don't listen to some tired parts of my brain. So that's where we're at. Oh, hello, Lily. No, Lily. Don't show them that. Just knock things over. You know, you're doing a great job. You gonna open the door as well? Yeah. Let's just get right on into it, shall we? Let's roll the intro screen. So, first we are looking at A Touch of Jen by Beth Morgan. I have mixed feelings about this book. Oh, the, thing that draws everything together is that it's all about social media. Basically, I had seen this book on Insta Reels. I assume from somebody who also does book talk type stuff, because most people are on multi-platform shit, which is why I'm now doing shorts and reels, because apparently that's what I'm supposed to be doing. I already knew that's what I was supposed to be doing, but I finally went, right, fine, I'll do it anyway. Let me make short form content as well, even though I just talking and rambling and blah, 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 blah. But Anyway, I'd seen this and I checked at the library and it wasn't there, and I thought, you know what? Treat yourself. So I ordered this a little bit ago. Think I got it on Amazon, which I know I shouldn't have done. But I don't have any local bookshops to support. At least I don't know of any local bookshops. Anyway, rambling. No script for this video, in case you couldn't tell. Underneath that, you know, where it's like, oh, other things that you might like, I'd seen the other book that we're going to be reviewing today. And I thought, oh, that looks interesting. And we kind of have that social media intermingling thing. The thing is, A Touch of Jen isn't really social media. It is parasocial relationships, definitely. But it's more a sort of wider kind of, okay, ghost, particular kind of people commentary sort of vibe. Like, not necessarily LA influencers, but the type of people who are LA influencers, if that makes sense. So I don't know how I think I really like this book, but I also feel like I need to read it again, because I don't know if you can hear all the noises going on. I think my cat is just scraping at her litter tray. Probably Zelda, because she likes to bury everything, and if it's not buried right, like fully, completely, then she'll sit there for like 5 minutes. But with this book, you are on the one hand dealing with arseholes. For every character, there isn't a likeable person in this. And that's fine. I like, for example, the easiest one to go for is American Psycho or Trainspotting, where, yes, there are reasons for the people in Trainspotting to be shitty people, because, you know, nobody just like, oh, I'll just take up heroin for a laugh. But they still do objectively shitty things, and it is hard to feel sorry for them sometimes. And with American Psycho, it's a case of, now this guy's just a tool. There's no reason for this, he's just a dickhead. And yet, the stories themselves are really interesting, and you want to follow them. Especially because I think it's a case of you want to see them have consequences for the way they are, or you want to see how they can turn things around. With this, you don't really get a kind of consequence or turnaround, and the end was so dissatisfying, because it feels like Beth Morgan expects us to want a good thing to happen to Remy, and it's like, no. I don't want good things to happen to any of these characters. I don't care for them. I feel like the story's really interesting. I wish the supernatural elements were brought in sooner, because we have the stuff about predestiny and manifesting and, oh, what's it called? The law of attraction or the power of attraction or something like that. All the stuff that, like, The Secret, and it's all that stuff. But, you know, and the sort of people that are fucking irritating with it is, I don't care if you manifest. Have at it. Don't try and make somebody else do it. Same thing with any of all that other shit. It's like, no, not everybody cares about the fact that, like, you believe in predestiny or whatever. And, you know, there are things that are interwoven throughout the book that work really well. I just feel like there's something missing. And like I say, I feel like it's maybe something that I do want to reread. Maybe when I'm in a better headspace. Like, I do sometimes consider that. But I also know that I'm really good at reading books no matter what kind of mood I'm in, unless I'm really fucking ill. And I'm not ill, other than a bit mentally, but, like, physically ill, I mean. Like, I am sick with something. But I'm really good at still being able to review books books in the same way. So I don't think that's particularly a factor here, because both of these books did hold my grip. That's not the right phrase. They had me in their grip. See, I can write notes and I can read a book as a reviewer. Can't make a fucking review when my brain isn't functioning, but you get what you get. A video that's late and not scripted properly because I'm not awake. I've been living on energy drinks and coffee. Because I'm so healthy. Anyway, focus on the task at hand. Yeah, the supernatural elements, I think they're brought in a bit late. There is like one hint when they're away on this trip, and then there's another bigger, not really a hint, later in a bathroom, and then it escalates. But I really wish that there were more. I know there are the sounds that they can hear, and there's like some weirdness in the flat, but I'd like to have seen a little bit more of that, because it's hard to do. Like, this isn't me trying to bash the author here, me going, oh, well, I understand it's very hard, because that's patronizing as shit, and that's not what I'm aiming for. But I understand that it's hard to, it's a very fine line, is doing the subtle early sightings of something, but the way that it escalates later on, you need more building up to that. Also, like I was saying earlier, I think I meant to start talking about this, but I didn't. It's not really about social media, and there's some shit missing there. Like, the reason this book, or like the namesake for this book, A Touch of Jen, is one of our two lead characters calls an account that, but the account doesn't lead anywhere. Like, we don't hear anything else about that after that. And I know it's linked to her changing her name and being really fucking weird about the other Jen, like the actual real Jen. But why is the whole book is called A Touch of Jen, and we have this account called that, and you think, oh, that's gonna really come up, but it doesn't. Or if it did, I may be missing something, but there are a few things where I could have gone, yeah, it just, I don't know how well this book worked, and I think I need a second read through to be able to maybe have that, you know, when you read a crime book and you can read back through it and you go, oh, that fits there and all this and that. I think I need one of those kind of reads of this to really make something click, but at the same time, but I do enjoy the weird psychological shit that goes on in this. Like, we've got the stuff about, I don't know when this started to become really a thing, like, not AI in general, but the idea of having an app on your phone where you have a loved one who's no longer with you, and you say, yeah, you can have all the access to all our messages together, and then eventually it'll pick up on that kind of algorithm or whatever, and it uses artificial intelligence to basically, you can have more conversations with them, as it were. And it's not just, I've seen it in this, and obviously there was one of my favourite episodes of Black Mirror is based on that, with Hayley Atwell, is it? I feel like that's her name. And the son, who I think is Donald Gleeson, but he is the son. I'm not very good with names. We've established this right near the beginning of the channel. I'm shit with names. And that is not just for characters in books, that is for real people as well. But the episode with those two, with the AI stuff, great episode. And I thought there was a little bit missing with that at points, but as that escalated, that did work really well. But I feel like I've seen it elsewhere as well. When did this start becoming an idea? Is it a thing? Or, like, even if it doesn't work very well, is it something that people have made or attempted? And that's why it's sort of become a big thing in sort of dystopian type fiction, or... Because this is dystopian, I guess. But also, it would be very hard to put in a genre, is this, to be honest, to classify. So, I don't know how I feel about this book, I think is the best way to put it. There were parts that I really enjoyed. I really do like the strange psychological aspects. I like the look at parasocial relationships and how that is a kind of... Yes, that's absolutely about influencers and celebrities and all that sort of stuff, but it also does pop into our real lives as well. So in that way that we create a version of somebody based on who they are online, and that is most talked about with influencers, because, you know, these people who create a kind of toxic relationship or toxic idea of a relationship with an influencer who they've never met and they have no real connection with, but that actually also goes on to real people as well. So, like, people who stalk exes and stuff like that online, and stalk in the kind of actual sense and the colloquial sense of, like, oh, I'm Facebook stalking somebody. It's probably... Nobody does on Facebook anymore, but whatever. And I really like the way it goes into that, because I thought from the descriptions that I thought Jen was more the influencer type, but not really in the book when you actually start reading it. But again, the balance of dislikable characters with a narrative you want to follow is fucking difficult, and I don't know where this sits on that balance, because, like I was saying, you can have shitty fucking characters, but you want to follow their narrative. But sometimes, I don't know what just happened to my voice, but sometimes you get it where shitty people kind of mean that the narrative is really hard to follow, even if it is intentional. Because obviously when that's unintentional, you know, I've done Bad Red Book Club now, we've spoken about how the fact that the shitty people, when it's not done intentionally, are a problem. But so we're not going into that. So yeah, mixed feelings on this book. Maybe give it a go. I would do your own research beyond me. Do some more research into the plot and that kind of thing. Even, like, I would have to do a full deep dive into this book for me to be able to accurately say, yeah, no, I really do think you should give this a go. If you like really strange narratives as well, like the ones where you're not really fully aware of where it's about to go, and it's clear that that's intentional, maybe this will be for you. And next up we had to remove this post by, I want to say Hannah Bavotes, but I was unable to find a pronunciation of this name that isn't in French, but she's Dutch. So, my apologies. This book, on the other hand, oh my god, I read it within a few hours. It's less than 150 pages, and magnifique. Beautiful. I loved it so much. It felt like a really... I can never remember the phrase for this, where it's like not train of thought, but train of thought, like where you just, it's all just off the cuff. It feels like somebody just talking. It feels like this, somebody just talking like this, rather than something that is more structured. And I mean that in a positive way, in a kind of the way the James Joyce or it's not going to come to me. My name's gone blank. But Virginia Woolf. There we go. My brain was just going Mrs. Dalloway over and over again. I'm like, that's the fucking book you've read. It's not the author. But Virginia Woolf or James Joyce, that kind of storytelling style, which I am always 50-50 on. I either love it or I cannot gel with it whatsoever. And I think it does really depend on short fiction versus long form fiction, because I read Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man, and I've tried to read Ulysses, and I really liked Portrait of the Artist. Could not get on with Ulysses whatsoever. I want to come back to it in the future at some point, because it's fucking huge. So it'd be the sort of thing that I would probably be reading like in the background, but also I'm reading all the fucking time. So when do I get the time to do shit like that? But getting back to what we're on about, similar kind of writing style for that, or at least that's how it felt to me. And it works so well here. Again, it's short fiction, so I think it works for me. It works really well with short fiction. That might be different for you. I know somebody who very much loves James Joyce in all of his writings, so he would not necessarily suggest that it's better in short or long form, but who knows? Anyhow, brain, back to the task at hand. So we have our lead character starting the book basically by saying, everybody asked me what I've seen at my last job, and then explaining that, so everything's in second person, and she's talking to you, who actually is the lawyer running a class action lawsuit against the place our lead character Kaylee used to work. And the opening is bold. It is vibrant. Like, you are brought in going, what the fuck? Okay. But it's absolutely, like, she's basically saying, you want to know what I saw? You want to think about the fact that I saw this horrible thing, that horrible thing, this, and but she lists them, but I'd rather not. And basically, her previous job was to go through flagged social media posts and say whether it's actually fit to stay up on the platform or go down. So obviously this is things like offensive comments, in terms of isms and phobias and stuff, or death threats, or videos, so the sort of like live leak type videos, if that makes sense, and if it doesn't, God, I wish that were me. But generally horrific shit, and seeing if it complies with X company's guidelines, and the sort of stuff where you go, oh, that's why things stay up, because it's clear that she talks about it in the back that she's done a lot of research into the sort of companies that actually are doing this sort of thing, the kind of contracting type work, and the fact that there are so many studies about the fact that this exists. It's mad to me. But just the way this story is told, it's so matter of fact, and I think that works so well. It's very much a case of this happens, and in some cases with work, you have to look at it and go, I don't need a vivid description of everything, and this really gets to the heart of the matter really quickly. So, you know, you're not necessarily hyper aware of what the office looks like, hyper aware of what her house looks like, whatever. You may have some vague descriptions here and there. You have enough to know where you are. And for a book like this, that works perfectly, because it's not what it's about. It's not about the office. It's not about deep diving into somebody's psyche. It's telling you enough for you to understand so much more, and it just works so well, and I absolutely have fallen in love with it. Now, this one was a library book. I didn't actually get this when, well, I put the request in for borrowing. My brain's just not here today. This is why we're taking some time off, 'cause I deserve it. Anyway, point is, I put the request in. This is a library book, but I do think that maybe I want to get my own copy of this, because it's fucking phenomenal, and I would like it for myself, because like I said, I read this really quickly, remarkably quickly, which I wasn't expecting. Now, part of that is because it's not tiny writing on the page. The font size is like relatively big. It's not huge, but whatever. I might have had a large print version. I don't know. It's less than 150 pages, and it just, obviously the content matter was not easy to read, but the style really was, and I just, yeah, I'm in love with it, and I want a copy for myself, because I feel like it's something that if I'm having a day where I can't get my brain into reading because of the style of this, I can just like, because sometimes I need that. Sometimes I need, it's like if you do art, sometimes you need to do a warm-up, or if you do physical exercise, you need to do a warm-up to get you into the ability to do what you need to do. And yes, sometimes I need to do that with reading. I need to warm my brain up. Weird as that sounds, it's all the things that live in here that I'd rather didn't. They need assistance. The little goblins in my brain need help sometimes. Right, look, I'm not going to linger around at the end. Feel free to like and subscribe and put a comment in if you want about anything you like. Comment whatever you want. Tell me what the train of thought thing that I'm thinking of is. Remind me of that and feel smart about it, because I'm not feeling clever right now. No video next week. One video the week after. No Bad Red Book Club this week, and then April off until right at the end. And at the end of April, we will be doing I will come back to you with a Bad Rep Book Club, hopefully one that goes a lot better than the fucking last one. Feel free to go back and watch it. It was a mess technologically, but the review itself is a lot of fun, and it's just one of those things that you can listen to it as a podcast. I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful night, a wonderful whenever you are watching this. Take care of yourselves. Right.